What's up, addicts? We're here for Mob. Yeah, we haven't hit you with one of those in a while.
Moments,
but we're here for Mob Psycho Season 2, Episode 12. And we're coming down to the wire.
212.
Yeah, 212. And this is, I mean, we don't get to the final fight. We kind of do. It's kind of just starting off. But, you know, we get to see that, I guess he's facing off with the last member of the Ultimate Five, the guy with the umbrella. Not gonna try to pronounce his last name. Starts with an S though. And you get to see.
He's got a sad life.
Yeah, he does have a sad life. You get his background. You get like a little moment between Mob. I don't want to say that he's like an older version of Mob if his circumstances were different, but there is a lot of parallels between this guy and Mob.
Which Mob kind of recognizes and becomes friends with him.
Yeah.
So that's good. So hopefully he can become a functioning member of society. Maybe on like a gas station or something.
We're talking about the episode, so yeah, spoilers. But, you know, he did destroy his umbrella, which is like the one thing that was, I think, holding him back. So he's got a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, overall the action in this episode, it was pretty great. We do get probably the first time in the series that Mob actually gets injured, or at least a little bit.
Yeah, because
looks a little tired.
I think now, you know, I don't remember everything in little detail, but I think this is the only time or one of the very few times that like his barrier has been broken. At least when he's not at 100%.
We do get a harrowing moment where Raijin may have died. Feels bad, man.
Yeah, I don't think he's dead, because, especially with the whole family thing earlier in the season. And the guy getting impaled in the chest and coming out fine. I think he's still alive. Especially, I've heard there's enough material for season 3. But, you know, there's possibility he might not be walking
He almost
away.
had some problems.
Fully
Dimple's sad.
Dimple's a piece of paper now.
It's pretty sad.
He's just a tatter
I
floating.
think he should get rewarded. He should have like a body. Can he possess somebody?
Hey, you know, why can't he just take over one of the other espers that were evil?
Yeah,
It'd be fine.
He's had a tough life too.
The real question I want to know is that other psychic that's now a spirit, is he going to come back to help Mob? Because I don't know, because like they're building up this guy to be like Mob's equal in a sense, because they have some of the same powers. So like, you know, one of those powers is pretty OP that I feel like, you know, the battle could rage on unless something interferes. But I don't really know if they're going to go that route, like where somebody interjects. Because the people, as we see on the ground, are like trying to evacuate, or at least they're getting hit by some of the aftermath. So I don't know if they're necessarily going to jump.
It's going to be interesting because, which is the first interesting of the day, feels good, man. Because in One Punch, obviously you guys know if you've watched this, that One Punch Man and Mob are written by the same person.
Yeah.
And overall, so far, there has been similarities in like the power structure, as you know, Mob being the strongest in
like
the world.
motivations for some of the enemies.
Exactly. So it'll be. I don't know if the authors wrote it in a way where someone is going to intervene, or you know, Mob is going to suffer defeat, because that's not something he commonly introduces in his series. Since obviously One Punch Man, he really can't,
Right?
because that's like the central concept. And I think Mob, to a certain extent, is, you know, he's the strongest Esper, at least supposedly, when he goes 100% or 1,000% or whatever. So I don't know. I don't know how it's going to be. Probably the best animated fight scene in recent memory, you have to go back to, you know, One Punch Man Season 1, where he had that finale with the powerful foe. So I wonder if they will kind of set that as a standard kind of move from that. Hopefully, I actually hope that Mob can just beat this guy by himself and kind of just wreck him, you know? That'd be nice.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of stages, you know, to like this fight, because by the end of this episode, we see that the main guy, you know, the guy he's facing off, he's only using 10% of his power, where Mob, he did get to 100% by the time we see him at the end of the episode, but he wasn't going full out in his 100%. And like you said, we've seen him at 1,000%, and then we've seen him at like the mystery percent. So there's still a lot of levels to his power, you know, that he could bring into the fight. So, but I agree with you. I hope he's able to beat him by himself, and I think there's still, you know, plenty of ways to do that believably, because he's just the man. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing if it's going to top the best fight scene in the season so far that I think. And I do think the one that is the reigning champ so far in this season is the one with Shimazaki, the blind guy, versus like all those other people. Because that was just such a cool fight. Like, even if the scales aren't the same, like, man, he's wrecking people in the city. So anxious to see how that checks. But interesting comparing it to One Punch. I don't know. I mean, That's really hard because, you know, if you're just going off of like animation, like what is this isn't the place to talk about it, but I am curious to ask you this question off camera.
Okay.
But
We'll
I won't go into that.
We'll get into it a little
that's
later.
a different topic. But anyway, anything else you wanted to highlight for this episode?
Similar to how most of the enemies that Mob has encountered throughout the series, it's kind of like a difference of ideals. We had, you know, in the first part of the season, you had the one guy who didn't have faith in humanity or whatever, you know, and he caused Mob to go back into an alternate universe to live his world without powers. In this one, it's kind of the same thing where he views people as inferior to him and he shouldn't have a relationship with people, whereas Mob believes that relationships make you stronger. Yeah. And so what was great in this episode, I think probably one of my favorite lines. Well, first, Raijin has a lot of great lines in this episode. He's hilarious. But it is great when Mob is like about to tell him something. He's like, forget it. Sometimes you just have to hurt people to make them understand.
Yeah, which is crazy because I'm wondering if, I mean, obviously that was a funny thing to hear, but I'm wondering if that's also, he's kind of taking Megami's words to heart because he said, you know, sometimes you have to be tough on people. And, you know, literally he meant that as like hurting people. Like sometimes you can't just let these people off and let them, you know,
which is true,
kind of repopulate into society. You know, they have to like be killed or, you know, at least taken out. And so I'm wondering if that's like the turn for Mob right now, that he's like, no, I am going to take this guy out with brute force. Time for talking is done. Or if we're going to see him try it again. I feel like we're not, but, you know, they could go that still.
Yeah, I'm sure this last episode probably took them like a year to animate.
Yeah, probably. Oof. If anything was...
But yeah, it was a good episode. You know, obviously it didn't have the amount of fights where two forces are equal that the previous episodes have.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen Mob and the other bad guy go full out yet, so we'll have to wait for that in the next episode. But overall, it was good, and we got to see Raijin shoot someone, so he was getting real serious. And
Raijin's got a gun.
Okay. Umbrella Man. He's
a pretty good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. You know, I hope he's doing all right.
What if? Nah, this won't happen. But it's like, what if Mob takes him in after everything's over?
That'd be great. He's like the Mob's the master of him, and then Raijin's like that'd be great.
All right, guys.
Imagine him interacting with people in the business. I just find that hilarious. Anyway, we can end this.
Great. Oh man, bring it! Like if you're doing extra episodes, make that one of them. I will watch that. But yeah, I guess we'll shut up because that's pretty much everything for this episode. We will be back for the last one and a full review of the second season. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.
Later.